Good morning. This is Katie Hansen, FCEA President, bringing you information to prepare you for the ratification vote that we are going to be having based on the negotiations we had called impact bargaining, specifically on some topics dealing with race to the top. I know you're probably asking yourself, why are we bargaining again? Flagler County is a part of the Race to the Top grant. It was a 5-year grant, and this year is the last year of that grant. And with that grant came some additional requirements that pertain to our evaluation. And we sat down with the district to negotiate some terms relating to what was in the grant. The first agreement that we reached is an MOU or Memorandum of Understanding on performance pay that the Race to the Top grant dictated that we must have. The money set aside for this is not a great deal of money. It's only $40,000 district-wide. And ultimately, although it's not a great deal of money getting into the hands of teachers, in our opinion, it was better to get money to the teachers rather than it to stay in the bank accounts of the district. So what you see is a formula that will be utilized to calculate how much money teachers will earn based on an overall evaluation score of highly effective or effective. The number that, or the money that teachers will receive is kind of a fluid amount based on how many teachers end up ranking highly effective and how many rank effective. So what I put there is an example for you to see based on if 300 teachers were effective, they would each receive approximately $89, and 100 teachers highly effective, then they would receive approximately $133. But again, don't bank on a particular amount. It will be based on the formula you see. The other piece that you've already heard some information about, but ultimately we had to negotiate because it does affect the terms and conditions of our employment, is the third metric of the evaluation. Ultimately, the evaluation committee decided that the best third metric we could utilize would be the goal of our IPI-DIPI. Again, this is for this school year, 2013-2014 only. Some details for you that we negotiated with the district in reference to the goal on the IPI-DIPI for the third metric. Number one, teachers have the autonomy to write their own goal. I know that myself as a teacher in Flagler County, there have been many years where I was dictated to from my administration about what I had to write on my individual professional development plan. But we ensured that teachers could have the autonomy to write their own goals. Secondly, teachers are only required to write one goal, which is a little different. Typically, we've been told we have to write two, but for this one, we only have to write one. You may opt to write more than one, but if you do, you need to make sure that you indicate to your administrator which one is going to be utilized for the evaluation. If you wrote your goal on your IPI-DIPI prior to this information coming out, you have the ability to go back and modify that goal. And then lastly, we have the breakdown of percentages. 50% is still the deliberate practice, so when your administrator comes in to observe you. 45% will be the student learning games, or VAM. And last, the third metric will be worth 5% of your overall evaluation score. A couple other really important things to make sure you know. After you write your IPI-DIPI goal, you will sit down with your administrator to determine a rubric to figure out how many points you'll get towards your evaluation. In other words, it's not a cut and dry that if you don't meet the goal of your IPI-DIPI, then you don't get any points. That's not how it will work. The idea will be that if you meet the goal or exceed the goal, then you would be at, say, a level 4. If you get close to the goal, then you would be a 3, not so close to, and so on. But that'll be determined between you and your administrator. And just a couple of kind of friendly reminders when writing your goal on your IPI-DIPI, please make sure it is specific and measurable. Make sure it is something within your sphere of reference, so to speak, that it's something you have an effect on through your classroom instruction. And last, make sure that your goal is attainable. We really want this to be something that you can very easily meet the goal of to get that 5% score. Copies of the full tentative agreements on the MOUs will be posted on your FCEA bulletin board if you'd like to see them in their total detail. The ratification vote will take place on Wednesday, February 12th, before and after school. It will be run by some of the building reps at your school. All teachers, whether you're members of FCEA or not, are eligible to vote. And then if we ratify this, it's a positive vote, then it will go to the school board for their ratification vote on Tuesday, February 18th. As always, I do want to take a minute to thank the members of FCEA's bargaining team. They continue to give of their time and their ideas and their energy and deal with what can often be a frustrating process of negotiation. So I really do want to take a moment to thank them again, and also to let you know that we will begin preparing for negotiations of the 14-15 contract. We're going to sit down with the district in mid-March to go ahead and begin negotiating next year's contract. And if you're interested in joining FCEA's bargaining committee, please email me as soon as possible. Thank you, and if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, hansenka@flaglerschools.com or katie.hansen@floridaea.org. Have a fantastic day.